In this video, we're talking all about what happened in the month of January in 2025 in Edmonton's real estate market. So what's going on in Edmonton's real estate housing market? There's been a lot of big talk about the tariffs down in the US and in Canada. It's also a busy month of January, which is seemingly odd because January is typically slower. We also had a warmer weather. I know that seems silly to talk about, but warmer weather does impact our real estate market as well. So many things happened. Every week on Tuesday, we talk about what's happening week to week, but in this video, we talk about everything at a month glance. So let's take a look and see how many active listings we have in all of Edmonton currently right now. So currently right now we have 2,673 homes for sale. Now this is condos and single family. In our weekly Tuesday updates, we just focus on single family. And if you've been tuning in there, you know that the numbers have been sitting anywhere from 1,200 to 1,300. So then you can do the math and you can see how many of those are actually condos, which is almost half. Probably a little bit more than half. If you take a look at the number of new listings that came onto the market in January, we had 1,758 listings that came on the market in January, and that is an increase from December of 80%. And if you look at last year at this time in January, that's 15% more listings that came on. But you might say, well, then why is it still a seller's market? Well, because we have such a low amount of homes for sale right now that even though we had that much come on, it still hasn't balanced things out. There's a lot of demand still, and that's not typical for January. If we take a look at the number of sales so far in January, which is so far in 2025, we actually have seen an increase in sale month over month and year over year. With 1,187 sales, we had a 12.5% increase month over month and a 12.7% increase year over year. So we are starting the year very strong in terms of sales and number of new listings. Now, they should continue, the sales and the new listings should continue on into the coming months. We typically see a much quieter November, December, even January usually, and February is when it slowly starts to pick up. But we're seeing that 2025 is starting off with a really big uptick, and we'll see what happens. There's a lot of uncertainty with people speculating about what's happening. I've been looking at the news and BC market's confused. I looked at Ottawa, and Ottawa's real estate actually has 50% more for sale in January this year than it did last year. So the market across Canada is all varying, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what if Trump or Trudeau were talking about tariffs, there's always the unknown of the unknown. Nobody has a crystal ball. And so we'll kind of see what's happening. We're still seeing very strong market in sales, especially between the $300,000 to $500,000 price range. Anything over $600,000 is usually slower to move. But we've seen in the last month that though we're not seeing multiple offers, we're still seeing the properties move quickly as long as they're priced according to the market. Fun fact, I don't know if you know this, and I just got shocked when I saw this. We had a $6 million property sell in Edmonton, detached single family, in the month of January. That is a very high number and very not typical. I thought I would share that. And we also had a $1.6 million apartment condo sell and semi-detached, $742,500, and a row townhouse for $625,000. These are our high rollers for the month of January. If you take a look at the average days on market, that number has slowly increased because I don't know if you've been following, we've been sitting around the 29, 30 days on market, kind of the bulk of the year last year, and then slowly at the end of the year, it started to slowly creep up. We're now sitting at 50 days, average days on market, and that doesn't mean that if you're thinking about selling your house, you have to plan for 50 days. This is just the average days when you look at all the sales that have been sitting on the market for a long time. Why are they sitting? Usually the price. It's overpriced or something's wrong with the house, and these things take forever to sell because the prices are still not adjusted to the market. And you can add on the houses that sell within a day or two. This is where the average days on market comes. Not everything sells right away. Some things will take a couple weeks to a month, but in general, the average days on market is still quicker than it was last year at this time. So we take a look at the average price of Edmonton homes. Everyone's wondering, is Edmonton still affordable? Is it now expensive? Is it too much? Well, the average homes for all the types of homes into one average is $421,000. Now that is 10% higher than it was last year. And I don't know if you remember, but their prediction last year was a 10 to 12% increase. So you're seeing that for sure in the overall average. It has gone up a little tiny bit, 0.8%. from month over month. If we take a look at the detached single family home, so we talk a lot about this because we have families here on this channel that you're watching and you're wondering, hey, I want to buy a detached single family home. That average price is $555,000, which was a 17.1% increase, and it did actually go up from December to January by 4.4%. So the average price in Edmonton single family homes used to be under $500,000, but we're now well over 500, in the mid 500,000s. Now, what is the prediction for the coming year? Everyone's speculating that we're going to have the same kind of increase. I would say that I'm always conservative. I don't think we're going to do 10%. I think we might be at 6 to 8%, more likely than 10, because I think there's a lot of uncertainty building. However, the spring market is going to definitely be, I think, a very busy market. I just think the summer and fall might auto-correct itself. I might be wrong, but it's better always to be under than over. And if we're looking at that at 555,000, if it is right now, if it goes 10%, you're looking at $600,000 for a single family home by year end, if they're correct. So we will see if that number happens. We sat in Edmonton at the 400s for the longest time for single family home, a slow 1 to 2% increase every year. And I don't foresee us just bottoming out. So that's an interesting observation. Now, if you take a look at the other average prices, you're looking at $423,000 for the average price for a town semi-detached, so that's a half duplex with a detached wall. That increased by 9.7%. The row townhouses average is $300,000, and that went up by 11.3%. Now, these ones very likely have condo fees. Anything you're looking for that has no condo fees is usually on the higher 300, low 400. We're not seeing you able to enter the market without condo fees unless you're looking at that price point. If you're looking at older homes, you can still enter the market without condo fees at a lower price point, even under $400,000. But keep in mind the location of that home, the amount of work that has to get done on that home. Those will actually play a factor on that price. So there's always the ability still to purchase. We're even seeing like the starter homes are no longer in the 3s. We're seeing starter homes more in the 400, and that's why it's so popular. Starter homes, I'm talking about homes that are move-in ready. They don't need too much work, and they're not falling apart, and they're not in a horrible location. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about moving. Starter home might actually not fit for your family, and you might actually need to be budgeting for the $550 price point. And if you can't afford that, then you need to understand what can be purchased for that lower price point to adjust your expectations. So we'll see what the market's going to do. February is still pretty busy and strong, and next month we'll talk about how the month of February and the year has gone. Make sure to tune in every Tuesday for our live updates, and make sure to watch that new video we just put out all about the tariffs.